So Anass, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
This is our newly launched Dubai Wave podcast, and our vision is to do interviews with people that are making it happen in Dubai in various industries, various verticals. And to date, we've had some very interesting people from MMA and food and the magazine industry. And we are thrilled to have you here. And the topic is entrepreneurship. And so to get started, why don't you tell us a bit about your background and how you got into the field of entrepreneurship?
Well, my background has really nothing to do with what I do now. I studied mechanical engineering because I come from, I think it's a very typical Arab Asian thing where your families think you should be a lawyer, doctor, or engineer. Traditionally, and anything else doesn't count. So I got a scholarship to go to Boston to study engineering. So it started with chemical engineering, which obviously didn't last too long, and then switched to mechanical for 4.5 years. But my dilemma was that I loved football all my life. He can relate for sure. And I've had, that's my very obvious passion. I think everybody usually has an obvious passion sometimes. It's very clear what we like, but not necessarily it translates to a career. And we were brought up to think that there's no future in football. There was no professionalism in the country. The league was not professional. So at my time, I'm born in '81. So yeah, I honestly thought that it will remain in the box in my brain that is labeled a hobby. So I played varsity. I played semi-pro in the US. I played for the state team, but always with the mindset that once I graduate, it's just a hobby. But the last year, I think all of my entrepreneurship journey came organically, I would say. The last year we had a football game against the Saudi guys. So it was UAE versus Saudi.
The last year of
college
last
in
year
Boston.
Of college.
Yeah.
At Northeastern
At
University.
Northeastern, yeah. So we assembled a so-called national team of the UAE representing our country. They told us we're going to this new field, and the interesting thing was that they told us you have to get your normal cleats, but it's indoors. So for me that was very weird to hear, because usually if it's indoors you wear your flat shoes, you don't wear cleats. And I was like, what do you mean you bring your cleats indoors? It's like it's this grass and you just come. So I got both shoes just in case, and we squished in a small, I think it was a golf cart or something, like 8 or 9 guys. I don't know how we actually managed to squeeze, but we reached there, quite an abnormal shape I think, and twisted. But yeah, we went in, and it was that moment that you see something and you're like, eureka, maybe it's an idea that I can bring to Dubai, because I see this beautiful field, no potholes, no broken or damaged grass, and it's artificial grass. It's the first time I see artificial grass in that manner, which is long, and there's like, it's like sand, but it's not sand, it's rubber. And you can wear your cleats, but it's air conditioned. So it's pretty cool, and I thought, you know what, in my country this would be a hit. I always go back for vacations and we just don't even find a nice, decent facility to play in. So that was the first.
An indoor soccer facility that has artificial turf is what you're saying. I see, interesting.
Air conditioned indoor, and that's as soon as I came back to Dubai after graduation, my life split into two.
It actually helped with the weather of Dubai, so it's air conditioning.
Yeah, because that's what you think. You know that Dubai has a very challenging weather. You know, it's humid, it's hot most of the year, and a lot of people will use that as an excuse not to play their sport. And I thought, you know what, this will be good for the community. It's what I love.
I see, awesome idea. Nobody had thought of that before.
We were the first, the first in the UAE to provide indoor air-conditioned artificial grass fields. So
this was your introduction to entrepreneurship. You saw this was happening in the U.S. and Boston, Northeastern, and then you decided to take the idea here. And so how did you actually execute that when you came here?
I came here and I had the parallel life. So the typical corporate life where I literally each 2.5, 3 years I would change a job just because I know I don't like it. So I was in an oil field, and then in the properties, because everybody was in properties, as you see Dubai now is where it is. Then philanthropy, which was one of the most rewarding jobs I've had. Then football, funnily, Officially, I was the chief of operations of the football league here. And then I quit all the corporate world. But in parallel, I was working on Ahdaaf, which is the first startup I had.
I see.
And we started with 2 football fields in 2009. And today we've reached 27 across the UAE.
All over the UAE.
Yeah.
But these are all indoor.
No, mixed.
Oh, mixed. Okay.
Yeah.
So going before that, like, can you talk about your early life in Dubai? Which school did you go
How
to?
early?
Like,
Since
you were like...
But
Okay.
you were born in the United States.
Born in Dubai and straight away back to New York.
Oh, I
So
see.
my father was studying architecture in Syracuse, New York. So as soon as I was born, we went back there,
I see.
and I was there for 4 years. So that's very early life.
Yeah.
And then grade school, high school, Dubai, and then I was in Dubai National School,
Okay,
and then college, back to Boston.
that's
Yeah.
nice. So what did you want to study after graduating from school?
I honestly didn't want to study anything. I had no interest. I only knew that I loved football. But I was good in grades, so I got a scholarship. And they said, we give you the scholarship if you do engineering. And I'm like, okay, good ticket to America. Why not? It's honestly as lame as it sounds. That I thought, let's go to America and enjoy college life. And I found a ticket that I can study.
And how did you enjoy Northeastern University?
I love the States.
Yeah.
I loved Boston. I thought Boston was a very balanced city.
Yeah.
It's not crazy,
Yeah.
probably like Miami or Vegas,
Yeah.
and then not as boring as other states.
Yeah.
It's in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's a young city.
Yeah.
So very multicultural. I really enjoyed my time there. And I think it really shaped a lot of my personality. And for me, I mean, you guys are an AUD, so you would know, and you have a good benchmark between America and here, personally. So I think you can tell that education probably anywhere in a developed world today is quite at the same level. But it's everything around that.
Sure.
It's your life.
That's a good
It's how you
point.
manage your problems, your challenges, and become independent.
Right.
And you know, we tend to lead a very spoiled life. In Dubai, it spoils a lot of people. Everything is convenient.
It is, isn't it?
So
You're
when you
right.
go abroad,
Yeah.
you need to cook, you need to wash, you need to pay your bills, you need to do
Yeah,
the things
it's
that you're not used to doing, which is important, I think.
Yeah,
That's
and
an excellent
didn't
point,
you
yeah.
think about like working in the engineering field at all, or?
I tried, but I'm very true to myself. There are 2 types of people in this world. There are the type that they'll always stay, and they can end up being miserable, but they're still complaining about the same boss for years and years. And after 2-3 years, you're like, okay, I'm actually tired of hearing the same complaint. Are you going to either accept working where you're working with your annoying boss, or you're going to actually move to a new place? And I'm the other type. The moment I know that I've given it a good shot and I'm not content or happy, I'm
Yeah.
out in anything.
You're the kind of person that makes a move, right?
Yeah, I can't. I have to move on.
And I couldn't agree more. I think that's a very good point and well put. I agree that there are people who are just passively accept the situation, complain about it, but stay in that situation.
Yes.
And it's a very healthy thing to recognize a problem and move on. Or
I think people are afraid to change in
Yeah,
general.
that's true.
They don't like the unknown. They don't like not knowing what's the result. And that's why they tend to stay in their comfort zone, even though the comfort zone can be a very negative one. But if you have that bit of calculated risk, let's say, not even a crazy risk, you have to jump sometimes, and it's rewarding. Sometimes it fails, and sometimes, you know, you move on. And
yeah. So but perhaps, you were about to ask a question, I think.
Yeah, I have like a lot of stuff.
Sure.
That so first of all, like, can you talk us more about Ahdaaf? How did it start? Like, who inspired you to? Like, you talked about inspiring from Boston to.
yeah,
Adaf,
the
yeah.
spark was in Boston, and the execution was here. And I have 3 business partners
Yeah.
with me, and they've been great. I mean, because all of us had full-time jobs, and a lot of people are like, if none of you dedicate yourself to the business, it will fail. I think if I had done it alone, I would have. It wouldn't have worked because all of us had other jobs. But because we were 4, and using 4 part-times, you can probably compensate to be 1 full-time. But I would still argue and say, you need somebody full-time.
When you say 4, you mean your brothers?
No. The first business is with friends.
Oh, okay.
The second business I did with
This
my
is
brothers.
you're
This is
the
Adaf.
one who founded Bukhash Brothers.
Second business, yeah.
Second business.
And co-founded Ahdaaf. But I was the first guy who started Ahdaaf, And then my partners had the similar idea, so we said, you know what,
Yeah,
let's just join
let's just do it.
forces and do it together. And it was one of the best decisions.
Yeah.
And what's the norms of Bukhash Brothers? Like I saw it's a celebrity.
Yeah, it's a
kind of thing.
celebrity and influencer marketing agency. And the first also, funnily, it's the first one again in the UAE to be specialized in this field. Now everybody's doing it, of course, influencer marketing.
The first to be specialized in the field of
Influencer marketing. Yeah.
influence marketing. And when did you found that company?
October 2010.
I see.
Sorry,
And-
October 2014.
Yeah.
My bad.
But actually, I found it very cool. Like he goes out with the celebrities. He
That's
plays
the cool
football.
part, yeah.
He plays football with Del Piero. Last time he just posted a picture on Instagram with Del Piero.
I saw a picture of you with Will Smith, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Was that part of this project?
No,
or-
that is one of so Ahdaaf is the football business,
Yeah,
and I explained how there were certain sparks.
Yeah.
right,
When it comes to Bukhash Brothers, it's also again organic,
right.
and there were various sparks that led me to opening this agency.
Mm.
So one of them is what you just mentioned. When my friend is Maxwell, the singer from the US. Not everybody would probably know, but in his field, a lot of people would know him. So when Maxwell came for the first time to Dubai, he's a good friend, and we showed him around. And then, by coincidence, Tyrese, the actor, came,
Okay.
and he introduced us to Tyrese, and then he introduced us to Will Smith, who was also here on his first time to Dubai.
Yeah.
Now I know Tyrese is a big fan. He's at least of Abu Dhabi. He talked about it.
Everywhere.
He-
Tyrese loves the Middle East, I think, or the
Yeah.
Gulf in specific.
Oh,
He
okay.
loves UAE and
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, big supporter of the country.
And so he introduced you to Will Smith. Was
Maxwell
there-
introduced me to Tyrese and to Will Smith.
Oh, I see.
Both.
And then was there a business angle to that? I mean-
No, and that's where it was interesting. A lot of people started to call, especially Will Smith is on a different level
Mm.
when it comes to celebrity. I mean,
Sure.
even the guy cleaning the streets would know him.
Yeah, right.
And literally the amount of calls we would get, oh, we want to work with him, or I'm like, listen guys, I don't represent the guy in any work
Yeah.
manner. He's not my cousin, I don't know him that well, you know, I'm just being friendly, and we're showing him the country
Yeah.
and the culture. And he fell in love with the UAE. I mean, after that, I think he's been here maybe 6 or 8 times.
But he hadn't been there because
No,
he's been a celebrity for a long time.
yeah, but funnily never to Dubai till that year.
Okay.
And so we took him around Dubai, then we went skydiving. My first skydiving experience, so it was a good first time.
Giving Will Smith the Dubai
Yeah.
tour.
So it was fun. But that
cool.
was one of the sparks, let's say.
I see.
And
For
then-
for the business, the influence
Yeah.
marketing business.
And then Maxwell in his concert shouts out to us brothers, and he goes, the Bukhash Brothers are here.
Nice.
So that picked, like, it stuck, I would say.
That's
and we're like,
cool.
you know, it's a cool name. We're 3 brothers. We launched, we work with all of this, so why not?
Oh, I see. So the name came from when Maxwell screamed it out at a concert.
Yeah, definitely supported it for sure.
Okay, cool.
So you have 3 brothers, or
Yeah,
you're
from
3?
my mother and father, we're 3 brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know Harith only.
Harith was AUD,
Hey.
Muad was AUD also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So 2 of your brothers.
I'm the only
are-
one who escaped to America, to the actual country.
Got it.
Um,
Interesting.
But it's interesting because that was just one spark for Bukhash Brothers. Another was, in my last job, especially with being the chief of the league, I would meet a lot of the footballers in town, in my country. So a lot of people were like, can you talk to Amori, who's one popular footballer, or can you talk to, and then also my social media influencer friends were also friends. So people would say, can you give us their number, or. And I would ask them, do you want me to give your number? And then it became a point where I'm like, okay, this charity business needs to stop. There's a gap. There's obviously a gap because
Because they keep coming to you.
they come to me to talk to them, and the celebrities and the influencers want me to represent them on that deal or negotiate or read the contract. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah,
It's
marketing.
not
yeah,
money.
exactly. And I like it and I'm good at it.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? Let's open an agency, a proper one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
And what about the motivation speaking? You're one of the TEDx motivation speakers.
Yeah, that's a passion I have, I guess. I've always liked talking, I guess. I love to talk about things that I love. And it came also, I would say randomly. I think I'm good on stage. And if I can reach the youth, and even out of a lecture, one person, you know, gets affected in a good way and he wants to do his own business, then great, and then it's a success. So yeah, I signed also a long-term deal with Abu Dhabi Economic Development Organization, and we used to do tours across the UAE. I mean, literally Liwa to Fujairah to Ras Al Khaimah to all universities, just to talk to students, and I enjoyed it.
Have you spoken here at AUD?
I probably have. I know AUS have done 2 or 3. AUD maybe once, if I'm not mistaken.
I see.
Not sure.
So you were also part of Abu Dhabi Sports in a football show.
Yeah, I had
Is it-
my media stint that I forgot to
Yeah.
mention. Yeah, I was in football. I started on TV in sports.
Oh,
So it
okay.
was Dubai One. We had a program called World of Sports, and then I moved to Abu Dhabi Media, where I was this analyst or commentator on English Premier League.
Okay.
And then I moved to interviewing celebrities and influencers on another show. And then we had a morning show also. So yeah, I had some experience there.
I see.
Yeah.
So I saw you graduated from UAE in 2003, right?
Graduated from Boston 2003.
2003.
Yeah.
Then you started your entrepreneurship in 2010. Or
Nine.
yeah, the media.
The
part.
media to 10, I think. Yeah.
What happened during this gap, 6 years?
I was
What
learning from life. I explore. I'm a guy who likes to explore. I like to try things, whether it's food or traveling. I'll try anything. I'll try a new experience just to say, yes, I like it or I don't. I don't like when people don't try. So I think I grew up a lot in the years.
And you went also to Bangladesh.
Yes, that is with my job with Dubai Cares. So with Dubai Cares, they actually just celebrated their 10th year anniversary, which was really nice. I joined them first on a voluntary job to Bosnia. So I do photography also. Well, I stopped, but I enjoyed photography for a long time. Especially National Geographic type of photography, very raw and real. So I joined, Her Excellency Reem Al Hashmi said, why don't you join the team that's going to Bosnia with Sheikh Maktoum bin Mohammed? So I said, you know what, yeah. She's like, you can take a lot of pictures there. And so I did. And then after that, they asked me to join them as an employee to manage some countries' programs. So they focus on primary education for kids. And I was like, you know what, it seems like a rewarding job. I always like a new experience. So I joined them as a country program manager. I had Yemen, Comoros Islands, Mauritania, and Bangladesh.
And I saw a very interesting part in this part of your life where you said in your website that you were inspired by your wife in photography.
I used to be married.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and she was a very good, she is a very good photographer. So, you know, I think before Dubai Cares, we went on, it was called the Dhaka project. So we went on this voluntary also program to Bangladesh. This is before my Dubai Cares time. And yeah, I took photography there, and of course she'd give me advice and whatnot, and it helped. She's very artistic. She AUD grad also.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Dubai Cares, can you tell us a bit more about Dubai Cares? What's the initiative behind that? It's obviously it's a philanthropic organization,
Yeah.
right? And what are they aiming to do then?
So, Dubai Cares was launched by Sheikh Mohammed 10 years ago. And it was with the aim to provide access to quality primary education for kids around the world.
Okay.
Because the belief is that's what actually sustains, that's what actually removes poverty. I mean, I can give you
actually agree
food,
with that,
I
yeah.
can give you whatnot, but that's temporary relief.
Right.
So they wanted to focus on a better model. And then they partner with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, UNICEF, Save the Children, Right to Play. So it's a very interesting job, you know, completely different dimension for me.
So in your role for Dubai Cares, you mentioned the places you went to. What you said Bangladesh,
Yeah.
Yemen.
I manage the programs in these countries.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what did you do precisely? I mean, you're bringing education. So
Yes.
how does that work?
So let's say in Bangladesh, we worked in rural areas that were really difficult to get to.
Yeah.
But it was making these huts for kids that just don't have access to basic education. So
Okay.
that was in Bangladesh. In
Yeah.
other countries like Mauritania, you'd see a holistic system where the parents are given jobs to make money, and then that money is also used to refurbish a school. So suddenly, even if you leave after 5 years, they have a system in place that makes money and maintains. So a lot of these programs, the moment you leave,
Yeah.
they're done.
It falls apart.
Yeah.
You have to
So
create some
you try to build the
sustainability.
system. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So also the family is part of inspiring a lot of people. Like I saw that your mother just launched her second book.
Yes.
Can you talk us more about the book and what's like?
My mother's now, she's actually signed with Bukhash Brothers also, obviously. She doesn't have a choice, I think. So we work a lot on her in terms of branding strategy and what she does. We're trying to take her to the next level also. She's quite a popular figure now when it comes to women empowerment, women's well-being. She's a life coach, and she takes them on these hiking and trekking trips across the world. So they're now actually in Bali. Goes to Italy, Japan, and what she does is she does these. There's a big belief in hiking and trekking, and while doing that, you do workshops, you do lectures, and you talk about things. And if she can make women happier and more content, that means you make a society happier and more content, because the woman is the most important or integral part of a household and of a society, and that is her mission. I mean, that's what she's trying to do. And her second book. Her first book was probably more about who she is and what she's about. And her second book is more life lessons, that she made it purposely very short and easy to read, that you can literally jump into any chapter. You don't need to read the previous chapter. So
Would like to receive some.
What are the names of the
from
books?
and the second one is called Hala and Life in English.
Okay.
And the first one, I don't remember the English name. Yeah,
What's the name?
And your mother's name, just so people will know.
Hala Kazım.
Okay.
Kazım in Arabic.
Okay, I found it. I'm Googling her as we speak.
Okay.
I found it. Cool.
So you received also like one kind of award that we were actually fascinated by the name of the award, which is Best Dressed Man.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so you were awarded Best Dressed Man of which year?
16, yeah.
2016?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's your relationship to clothes and fashion?
Funnily, my next business is actually a street fashion label.
Oh, really?
I'm launching it in the next few months. I love fashion, I guess, because it's representative of who you are. The way you dress is the way you carry yourself, and I do think Emiratis have a long way to educate themselves in fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's getting there, but like now you'd see the guys are moving from the typical high-end brands that have a big logo on their t-shirts,
Yeah.
or 100 logos on one t-shirt, and now suddenly they're learning that that's not really only style. You can be very subtle and stylish at the same time. So I don't know, I have a personal interest in fashion and quality, and I thought I've made this rule with myself. I only do things that I love and that I'm good at.
Mm-hmm.
I have to mix these two. So a lot of people love things, but they're just not good at them.
Right.
And you tell them and they're stubborn and they don't agree.
I see.
But I like to say and tell people, okay, what do you really love and what are you really good at also?
It has to be the
And that's
intersection
combination,
of
yeah.
the two.
Yeah, for sure.
so
So
I
that's
have,
part 3.
as we have common interest in football.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite team in UAE?
The only team I follow is Arsenal,
Yeah, I
which
saw
is
from
depressing also.
your Anass Bukhash questions you post on social media.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I see always the background with Arsenal T-shirt.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
when the team was great. Now it's.
Yeah.
But my Boston team did well this year, the Patriots.
Oh yeah, my
So-
father was a huge fan of Brady. That was one of the greatest comebacks in NFL history.
That catch was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen something like that in a long time. Although I don't
Yeah.
follow American football much, but I saw, of course, that highlights.
Yeah.
It was great.
No, it was really good time for
And
American sport.
Who's your favorite player in UAE?
In the UAE, Amouri.
Yeah.
I think he's the only
They
talent.
call me Amouri of
Yeah,
AED.
he has the same hair.
He has the same hair, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Amr.
Yeah. So Amouri is a pure talent. I think he's one of the few footballers that can definitely go to Europe.
Mhm.
And we're trying to take him to. Amouri is also with us in the agency.
So I was going to ask that. He's one of your clients. So
Yeah, for
I
sure.
see. Gotcha.
And Terry Henry, of course.
Thierry, as a international footballer, not only as a athlete, but now also as a friend. I think he's a great guy, very interesting guy, and yeah, I love how he played as an athlete, how he approached the game. I mean, there are certain personalities you have to respect in sports, whether it's Michael Jordan or Muhammad Ali, or I mean, the way they approached and the amount of work they put behind the screen.
Mhm.
That's what you need to respect as much more than what you see on TV, because it's out of something. They worked hard to reach
Mhm.
that.
Mm.
So
That's true.
Yeah, I saw there's a famous Instagram or Twitter video of LeBron James getting cryogenically frozen.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another
tried
one.
that, yeah.
Have you tried that?
Yeah.
There's another one where he takes an ice bath, you know. But what's it like to get cryogenically frozen then?
I did the one in Emirates Towers, yeah.
Okay.
I think it goes to like minus some crazy number. I forgot how much to reach. It's
And
super
only
cold.
in an instant, right?
Yeah. But it's not wet. It's not
Okay.
water.
Yeah.
It's vapor.
Yeah.
So you don't need to get a towel or anything. But and I know a lot of these athletes have it at home, and you need to probably do it every day. It's not
What
a
is the
one-time
benefit then?
thing. Recovery.
Yeah,
It's
just
great for
expedites
recovery,
recovery.
for injuries, for like if we went to the gym today, usually you're sore the next day.
right.
If you use this, you're probably at least by
Yes.
50% better,
Hmm.
at least. Yeah.
Interesting.
The ice bath is the classic way.
Yeah, right.
When we were playing football, that's
Right.
what we do right after
Right,
the game. you
Right.
know.
The cryogenic is the
Yeah.
modern version.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Who else from the celebrities is part of the Bukhash Brothers rather than Muni or football players?
Footballers a lot, but one of our biggest projects was with Selena Gomez, Gigi Hadid, Kendall Jenner. We brought them all to Dubai. There was a big group of celebrities and people in fashion that we brought to Dubai. And it was an interesting project. I mean, it was very good for Dubai in terms of promotion. So yeah, that was one of our biggest ones.
Who are the biggest celebrity fans of Dubai that you know? I mean, you mentioned already
I mean,
Tyrese, Will Smith,
Yeah.
Selena Gomez. Is
Yeah.
she a big fan? Who else?
I think honestly, I've hardly met somebody who hasn't liked Dubai.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta love Dubai. I guess what I'm asking is, who like is a diehard fan, like always here?
The footballers for sure, because every break they get, you see them coming back. I don't know really. I know a lot of them even they've stayed here or bought property here.
Yeah.
I mean, Nicholas Anelka, you know him. He has his own place here. A lot of these celebrities are actually getting places here, so you know that they're definitely invested in the place. Yeah.
Who are some of your more interesting clients? Can you speak to that? Or?
I mean, to name clients.
Yeah.
We've worked a lot with Dubai Tourism.
Mm-hmm.
We've worked a lot with Samsung. Abu Dhabi now, tourism also. We've been doing a lot of projects with them, and it's nice to work with them too. We've started working with luxury brands recently. I won't name them because they're probably sensitive about this. But yeah, usually we also display it in our social media if we work with somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are some that we've been recurring. And of course, I don't want to forget the smaller businesses. You know, we've worked with smaller startups that we want to push and to help take to the next level. I can't forget where I'm from also. That's where I started, so it's nice to help them.
So back to photography. You went all around, like we saw all around the map. You went to a lot of places. What was the best country of photography? Like
photography-wise, Bangladesh is one of the most colorful countries I've seen.
Bangladesh.
But one of the poorest and dirtiest I've been to.
Yeah.
Yeah, really tough place.
For photography, you're not talking about urban photography, are you? In Bangladesh, you mean like going out into rural areas?
Yeah.
I see. And where else? Anywhere else that you particularly like in terms of
photography? I didn't really do good photography this time. I didn't take any of my cameras, but one of the most beautiful countries I've recently been to is New Zealand, Queenstown.
Okay.
It was just gorgeous, and it's been a while since a place left an impression on me like that. I just thought it
I
was
was
really
at
beautiful.
the gym yesterday and I was watching Lord of the Rings. They had playing,
Okay.
and I just remembered how beautiful the New Zealand landscapes are.
Man.
Because if you watch Lord of the Rings, it's all in New Zealand.
And you know, there's a tour. There's a Lord of the Rings tour.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And Peter Jackson put that on the map as a location.
Yes.
Because I don't think people thought we're going to fly to New Zealand. But when you watch that movie, that's one of the reasons why it's so striking in terms of the landscapes. You're not used to seeing certain landscapes that you see in that movie. It's all in New Zealand.
Yes. It's gorgeous, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody will tell you about the Switzerland and Austria, but for me, those are I don't know how to explain, but they're just too pretty and too pristine that you feel it's a painting.
Okay.
New Zealand is more raw beauty.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know. If you go there, you'll know what I mean.
I know it from watching all the Lord of the Rings movies, but the way you describe it, that's actually how I envision it from the movies.
Yes.
No plans for going back to media or having...
I like my social media. I have my freedom there. So maybe YouTube, but to go to a TV station, unlikely.
Unlike,
Yeah.
did you have like a very bad?
No, the experience was good, but it's not. I'm a guy who likes to be free and to do things the way I want to do things, and I want to ask the questions that I feel I should be asking. I don't want to be constrained or restricted. So when you work in a big corporation, you have to be, out of respect, out of guidelines, and I'd rather be an artist about it and do my YouTube or whatever in my own manner. I think that's much better.
So as we all know that now going on the show, the Victorious show, which is like
Yeah, I'm going to a game tonight actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What can you tell us more about like what do you do in the Victorious show, or what?
The Victoria show, just to maybe tell you, it's like X Factor but for footballers in the Arab world.
I see.
So it's a very cool concept, and it gives these guys who may never made it a second chance. So now with season 3, our role in the Victorious is one is just overall consultancy, because my friend owns the show, so he likes to use me as a consultant or an advisor in whatever capacity there, and then the footballers. So some of the footballers we will secure for the show and bring them there.
So who's the lineup of the year?
No, it's a secret.
It's a secret.
You'll see it next month.
But you're filming it tonight. Is that what you mean?
We're
or-
filming tonight. Tonight they have a test match, football match.
Okay, just so I understand. So the Victorious is what? It's a talent hunt of soccer players?
Yes.
Okay. And then you basically do it as a kind of reality TV show?
Yes.
Okay.
So literally like X Factor, you have the auditions
Yeah.
where they go literally to Jordan, to Lebanon, whatnot. UAE, Kuwait,
Oh, I see.
do the
this
trials.
is the UAE episode or something?
No,
or-
it is
It's
a
filmed
show
in-
based here.
Oh, I see.
So then all of the best,
Okay.
I think it's
20.
20 plus, they bring them to Dubai.
Okay.
And then they're trained vigorously. And then they're tested against, now we're letting them play against official clubs here and the reserve league. So it's proper test. And then every week there's a special guest, a typical international celebrity footballer that is one of the judges.
Okay.
And one of them has to get out. One has to get kicked out.
That's harsh.
Yeah, it gets harder and harder, of course.
And is it in English or is it in Arabic? or-
Arabic.
In Arabic. Okay.
Yeah, but I know that there's a lot of interest now across the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
take
it's
it.
actually one of the most unique programs for this. I've never seen this concept before in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's surprising.
it's-
I don't know why Europe didn't do it. I don't know why a lot of places. It's such a cool idea.
Like for example, always in the Arab media, we get X Factor, we get Arab Idol, we get these kind of concepts from outside.
Music,
but
yeah.
the
Yeah.
concept of Victorious,
Made here.
Actually, it's made here.
Yes.
So this is what's cool
It's
about it.
between Abu Bakr al-Husseini and Jihad Muntasir. Jihad Muntasir is the first Arab player to play in Arsenal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
these
why
two guys are the brains behind it.
But
Yeah.
what is your involvement in it?
I'm the
You-
advisor,
You're the
an
advisor.
advisor capacity, and the footballer side.
Okay.
So some footballers we will bring them and secure them for the show
Okay,
as a
I got
special
you, I got
judge.
last year they got Ronaldinho as
Yeah.
as a surprise for the players, and
Yes.
he
Oh,
was
that's
actually
really
dressed in a security
Yeah.
guard.
Okay, and then he surprised
Nice
everyone?
prank, yeah.
So Ronaldinho, he's one of the gods of football.
Yeah, the
we can-
Yeah,
lineup
I
is
know
a-
who Ronaldinho is. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
that.
The lineup is quite good
Yeah,
for a show, I think so. Any guy who loves football will love this show,
Yeah.
for sure.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And what's your future plans of, like you said about the project you're
Yes,
getting
so project or startup number 3, inshallah, will be in 2017. This will be street fashion. I finished the branding, I've registered the trademark. Now it's about website and production, and so, yeah, some work to do there. And then I'm already working on startup number 4. But that's
Alright.
still
That's,
in process.
Is
yeah.
that a secret or
Can
can
we
you
get a
talk
hint about it?
Yes, maybe FNB. It's between two. It's either FNB for this year, we have a concept there, or completely different. So,
On
We'll
this
see.
on the street fashion business, like first of all, just how it because we know that you won the best dressed, but how would you describe street fashion? What is your description of that particular style?
okay, in my own words, I would say it's something that is stylish yet comfortable, subtle and edgy, but you can wear it at the supermarket, and even if you go to not a decent restaurant, you still don't look out of place.
Okay.
So I think that's generally what I see streetwear as. It's not about wearing your XXX small t-shirt and showing off your muscles. No, you wear something that's stylish and cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I never get that. I never get a guy who goes to the gym and then wears his baby brother's t-shirt. I don't understand that. I mean, if you have a good figure, you don't need to wear something that tight. Just be comfortable.
For AB questions,
Uh-huh.
who inspired you for the Valentine's Day post?
Valentine's Day inspired me.
Like, I mean, like you talked about it's a marketing plan.
I don't think so, yeah.
So, like, what happened you saw in
AB questions, if you follow it, it's I'm starting to be more scheduled and organized about it, so I do it twice a week, and it talks about social issues or social things that I personally can relate to or have an opinion on, and then I want to know the opinion of the people. And the last one was Valentine's Day, because we were close to Valentine's Day, and of course I see my friends who have girlfriends, or somebody has a wife and he's stressed and pressured, and then the girl is depressed because she doesn't have a boyfriend. I'm like, why of all this pressure?
Like, everyone on Valentine's Day is depressed.
Yeah, right.
If you are
nobody's happy.
Yeah.
The guy who has somebody
Yeah.
hates that he has to buy a gift, and he's afraid it won't be good enough or whatnot.
It puts stress on everyone.
And then it's like a homework, unfortunately.
Yeah, right.
A gift is not supposed to be an assignment.
Right.
And then you see the guys who are single, and they're also like crying about they want love, and I'm like, listen guys, make up your mind. And then and for me it's that's not the point. It's not about being stingy or not buying gifts. I love buying gifts, but I'd rather get a gift that nobody expects on a random day.
That's how I feel about it too.
That's rather than, okay, it's a marketing ploy and let's raise the economy on this day and another 10 days of the year.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I always love spontaneous gifts. I think they're way more genuine, and you shouldn't be forced to remember somebody you love. Why do you need a reminder? You don't.
No, I agree with that as well. But the problem is your girlfriend or your wife does not.
You know, I've never, ever in my life, and this is solid, I've never celebrated Valentine's, ever.
Really?
College, high school, never. I made a point. But of course, that doesn't mean you don't celebrate other days with a loved one. You should, of course.
It's a hard sell, though, to pitch that.
Yeah, not easy. Especially if all her friends look at her like, poor you.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to explain why she doesn't have any flowers.
It doesn't always work.
Posts from the social media influencers all over UAE. Like, we have a quite good number of people now.
Yeah,
we think he's doing very well.
It depends which category. I mean, you have comedy, pranks, you have serious people, you know, you have celebrities, you have athletes. It's very different.
So do you think that social media can bring these guys to do or reach their goal and being like you as an entrepreneur? Or because I saw Ben Baz, he started as a comedian, now he's having his own company.
The company trend is definitely happening. Every influencer is trying to open their own PR agency or their own something. A lot of them opened and closed. And this is what I try to lecture a lot about is, unfortunately in Dubai, you have a big model of copy pasting. It's just always there. You open a laundry and it does well, you find 10 next to you. You open a shawarma place or a cupcake or a abaya, it's just a trend. Because unfortunately, that shows you that the ones that are copying are thinking of money. They're not thinking, I like this, I want to do it. And that is always my argument with people. I'm like, do not run after money. It will come. It will really come. Sometimes it takes longer, but if it's something you're really good at and you love, the quality will show.
Because that's a cool part in his, like he started with his work first, then he started in social media, and that's what...
I try to have my own... I want to be true to myself. For me, it's not about reaching hundreds of thousands of followers. No, alhamdulillah, if you look at the comments that I get on questions, people are thinking. I don't get these spam and rude, rarely. You find people writing paragraphs, which I love. That means people are reading, are listening. So my audience are...
Your audience is intentionally more of a thoughtful sort of social media.
And that's what I want. I want quality.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. And you're not, so in other words, because there's ways to get followers by being controversial.
Or buying. So many here, they're buying followers all over the place. Yeah. But now they're being found because there's so many softwares that show if you have a fake account or whatnot. Before people were like crazy, I want the guy who has 1 million followers. But they don't even want to know if it's real or not.
Yeah.
Now they're like, okay, sometimes you can go with somebody who has 10,000 followers.
But it's really about
it's your market.
The value of the followers, for sure. What would you say? Well, let's stay with social media for a second. Do you have a preferred platform? I see that you have you have 68,000 followers on Instagram. So obviously that is a enormous amount. Would you have a preferred social media platform?
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Instagram most. I just started on Facebook because the amount of adding on my personal account was getting too much, and I thought, why not? So I just started a page 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
It's
just
doing
recently,
good.
huh?
Yeah, it's doing quite good. And I have Twitter. I have most of social
think
media channels. I have Snapchat.
Twitter is declining.
I think Twitter has been filtered. So now people who are Twitter people are there. People who want to read bulletins, news, catastrophes, quotes.
I'll be honest
They're
with you.
there.
Today in my class, my web design class, I was asking the students who uses Twitter. Not one student uses Twitter.
Not surprised.
These kids at this level, undergrads, I don't know, do you use Twitter?
I used to.
You do? You not anymore?
I
Okay.
used-
Yeah, I'm finding that it's kind of cooled off. It's not really.
It's
not really
definitely
cool with
filtered.
with the college kids.
But you see, I'll tell you how it is also. I remember when social media was really starting to pick up in the region, we had a photography website. And this is a big reason why I got into photography also. It was called Flickr.
Yeah.
And Flickr was really big here because
Yeah.
there was nothing else.
Yeah.
So everybody suddenly became a photographer, which was cool because you're pushing people to do something kind of meaningful or artistic rather than chatting or playing video games or whatnot. Photography for me is an art form. So that became huge. And then they blocked it in the UAE, so that killed Flickr, but then other platforms started to come. Then Twitter at one point became so popular. Everybody was on Twitter. And what was nice about Twitter is you need to limit your words.
Yeah.
You have 140 characters, and it made people think and write properly, and punctuation was on point.
Sure.
But then Instagram came, and Instagram is much easier to express.
Yeah.
Put a picture. It doesn't have to be a professional picture. It can be a selfie, it can be whatever.
Right.
So that took everything, took all the attention.
Sure.
And then Snapchat came and kind of affected now Instagram, but Instagram is fighting, and
So what's the future, you think, with the social media?
I don't know. If I knew, I would be a billionaire by
You're
now.
right. Exactly. Nice. Do you use Snapchat?
Yeah,
Are you active on it? or-
yeah, definitely. I'm active on. I like social media.
Yeah.
I'm good at it also, and I enjoy it. And I try to respect each platform and what it's made for.
What makes a person good at social media? How would you define
If you're interested
being
first,
good?
I think number one, you have to be interested, because a lot of people are on it out of peer pressure or because their friends are there. If you're not interested, then don't bother. If you're really interested, then yeah, you probably get good at it. And then how picky are you? Are you a person with good taste? You know how to choose a nice picture or a nice video or a nice topic. It all helps, I think.
So you think that the beauty of the content is the one who's affecting the social media for anyone?
No, that's not only it. It can be one factor. I mean, if you're talking about a good-looking model, but all of his pictures are dark and grainy, he's not gonna get the quality or the
Right.
following he wants, So, but if you have somebody who speaks well, but most of his videos are not even, it doesn't sound great, or the lighting is poor.
The technology has to support.
Has to work hand
the
in hand.
content. Right?
Comedy, you look at all these comedians, because they're some of the most popular ones, or foodies. If the pictures of the food are poor,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
you won't go, you won't follow. A comedian who doesn't write a good script,
So for your videos, you do it alone, or you
alone,
have,
yeah.
you don't
So
have a
far alone.
team?
If I do switch to YouTube, which I'm considering, I'll do it properly. But I think so far it's decent. iPhones, surprisingly now, phones can do so much. And I just use a tripod and I do the video. I like chilled out, so sometimes we also just we'll go, for example, to my mother's house, and we'll just chill in the garden. We'll sit down, have dinner there, tea, and good conversation. I like to chill as much as I can.
What about sports and physical stuff?
Football.
Yeah.
I hate the gym.
Yeah.
I really don't like the gym. I gym just to maintain shape and fitness, just like homework. And because I know I would never sustain in the gym, I made a small area in my house that is a gym now, where I know I'll do my push-ups, my basics.
Yeah, okay.
So
That's good. Just to make it convenient to.
Yeah.
I don't know that many people that
So-
actually like the gym.
Yeah, I don't like them. as
Some
you can
people are crazy, like about CrossFit and
Yeah.
all of that. And like
It was like
these guys shouting at each other, their friends, and they're like trying to encourage them, like, guys, come down, you know. I will do my push-ups. You don't need to shout.
But at least if you can play games like that and stuff like that to keep yourself motivated. What
Football,
I find, football, sports, even if it's CrossFit or anything that keeps you engaged. Because what happens with the gym, I think, is it gets too repetitious. And that's what
It
becomes
can get boring.
Yeah.
Football, but the problem with football is it's high maintenance. I mean, I was just away on a trip just now. I played football there and I tore my groin out of nowhere. And I'm like, wow, you know,
Maybe
it's
not
just
stretching enough.
didn't stretch and it affects everything.
Yeah.
So then you can't walk, you can't work properly.
Yeah.
And that's why, unfortunately, football or soccer is a very high maintenance sport. You need to be really fit.
You had a conversation about the injuries you had.
I've had all.
Have had
Anything you ask, I had it probably.
And that's all from football.
Football, yeah. Three surgeries already. And over 50 tears for sure.
Wow, so you must have played a lot of football then.
Yeah.
Really? But
I
all
played at a high level. I played in the US,
Mhm.
Massachusetts, and then in Abu Dhabi.
But did you play for Northeastern for the?
Yeah, varsity.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
cool.
And then we played in a semi-pro team in Worcester, and then I was selected for the under-21 Massachusetts All-Star team. And then that's where I think I learned or grew up as a footballer there.
Yeah,
Not even
it's
in the-
ironic because U.S. has an
Imagine.
issue. We have an issue. I played soccer as a kid too. I keep calling it soccer, but
It's fine.
I played soccer as a kid, and I've always enjoyed soccer, but it's never caught on, and you probably know that
Yeah.
as well as anyone. It's never really caught on as a mainstream sport in the
Yeah.
United States.
But you guys have great sports altogether, so
Yeah.
and traditions, and I think the league in the US is actually better than the league we have here, no
Yeah.
doubt. It's
Yeah.
more full. People are there, people are attending and enjoying. And I love the quote by Steve Jobs. He goes, "You have to have a lot of passion for what you do, because if you don't, any rational person would quit or give up."
Absolutely.
And I really believe in that, because I've been through a lot of no's, hearing no and no and no, but you know, you're stubborn because you love it. If you don't love it, by the second time you're like, you know what, it's not meant to be, I'm not even gonna bother.
Right.
So you really have to have a lot of passion, but it's not enough. You need then, I like to categorize them in P's. So you have the passion, you have the planning, you have the perseverance. The planning is the annoying part, but it's important to you. You know, you do a basic business plan, you do a feasibility study, and nowadays it's so easy. You just go on YouTube and you have all these tutorials and it's not that difficult. Some research, some prices and quotations, and you know how to build a business plan. So I'm always surprised when people are like, okay, what should I do? What should I do? Google, literally, and you'll find all the answers. You don't need to even go to an organization to teach you. And the perseverance is very connected to the first P. If you're not passionate, you don't fight. You give up. And usually, if you fight at least 1 or 2 more times, you probably make it. You need that one more time. Our Adaf, we were rejected 3 times with the most important approval. The 4th time we went, we got it. I always think, what if I stopped and try number 2? Because a lot of people, of course, start to pop up and like, you see, we told you it's not meant to be, it's not gonna happen.
I see, I got you.
And you shouldn't bother yourself, and you know.
People around also affect
Yeah,
sometimes.
even friends and family, you'll notice a lot of people that will go against you, or they'll think, you know, why are you bothering yourself? But then you have to, that's where you need passion. If you don't have it, you don't try.